We are rolling. Welcome to episode 2 of the Prison Ladies, where we always discuss
The good, bad, and the ugly.
all day, every day. And we try not to like make this negative. We need to
Yeah.
let that be known. Like,
Yeah.
we're just talking about everything in
We
general,
must balance. Balance.
finding the balance.
Yes.
Um, and so today we figured that we would talk about support systems
Yeah.
and on our side and on their side, and how if it affects the relationship, if it affects the outcome of a situation, or maybe it has no bearing at all. Who knows?
I think it absolutely does on both sides. On our side, on their side, on our side, you to have that support system, a good, strong core group of ladies, and that's a tough one because that can be tricky. You've got to have somebody that you know is going to be very blunt and honest with you, is going to be very transparent, someone that you know you can really trust with all your bullshit, your secrets, your things that are thought provoking, all of it.
Yeah.
And in this community, that can be challenging. That can be tough to find
Yeah.
people that are like minded, people that you know you can trust,
Genuine.
people that, number one, for me, accept you for you,
Hmm.
period. That don't have their own agendas, that don't have their own ideas of what they think you should be.
Yep.
They accept you as you are, and there's that.
Yeah, and that they want you have to find, a real friend that wants to see your relationship succeed,
Yeah,
right? So like
yeah,
you said, like not having their own agenda. And we all have what we can and cannot tolerate. I can look at another prison wives relationship and be like, I can never do that, right? I could
yeah.
never, whatever. But then they could look at mine and be like, yeah, I can't do that. Like, we are all in our own lane.
Hmm.
So when you find that support system, like, you may not agree with this and this of what I'm going through, but as a support system, you're going to be honest with me either way,
Yes.
and you're not just going to tell me yes or tell me leave him or don't deal with that. Like, I'm not coming for that.
No.
I'm coming for actual help me look at what I'm missing. Help me see his side, and that's very important, because if you get people who really aren't team whatever you are, and they really are not on your side, their advice is always going to be negative. And
Having having a yes person is not the best thing.
mm-mm,
Having somebody that is just going to say, "Oh, girl, you're right. He shouldn't have done that. He shouldn't have
mm-mm,
said that. You're right about." That's not helpful.
no.
Having somebody that will go, "Girl, what what were you thinking? Why would you say that? Why would you do that? Or did you intend for that? Did you maybe look at it this way? What about, do you know you?" I mean,
Right, right.
you need that person that's going to be 100% real and tell you about you,
Right.
because
And it's
sometimes we
okay
can't.
to say, like, and there are times where it's going to be like, hey, he was dead wrong for that. Like, that's not cool.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you need someone who takes himself out of the situation and really looks at it and doesn't pick a side. You are literally trying to look at what's right and what's wrong. What did you miss? What did he miss? And
Hmm.
so that's the support system we all need to be surrounding ourselves with. You can have your girls gas you up, but that's
Sure.
only going to take you so far, because if
Hmm.
you don't reflect on yourself, you're never going to change. You're never going to grow. And no relationship you're in is going to work. If you are too
Nope.
busy pointing and not like, okay, my past got in the way, my
Yes.
insecurity got in the way, or my pride, whatever it may be, and I wasn't hearing him. Because, like, when you and I talk, and I'll tell you, right?
That's
You
just.
hear
Hmm.
him. Like, oh my God, I totally get where he's coming from. And it's not that
Yes.
you dismiss my feelings. It's not
No.
that you dismiss, that, hey, I get why that might have hurt you or why you might have taken it like this. But when you view it this way, and then I'm like, oh shit, you're right.
You
I,
do the same thing, because you will say, "Danielle, you know you're this way, right? Do you see that your loved one was this and you're doing this?" And I'll sit back and go, Oh, but
Oh,
oh shit. Sometimes it takes, you've done it with me, I don't know how many times, where
yeah,
it takes,
and we have to be willing to accept
yeah.
that, this journey is hard and the communication is limited, and
Mm-hmm.
misunderstanding, taking it the wrong way, you get defensive. I know if mine may say a certain thing, I immediately get defensive and I'm missing now everything that is being said because I'm too busy trying to be like, no, it's not, or no, that's not, not understanding their mindset. And we were just
Yes.
talking about that this morning. Their mindset, we have to learn it
Mm.
in order to understand them.
Yes.
And they live in a different world than us. They are still in prison, so they still have to live in certain mindsets that they can't
Yes.
stop right now. This isn't where you and I are talking about our horrible past, our past relationship, because we're out of that now.
Yeah.
So we can begin this like healing process. They cannot.
No.
They don't have that luxury right now. They're still inside.
And
So
sometimes that's a battle because
oh
we
yeah.
are living out here in the free world, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have free world. We're coming from that background. We're coming from that place.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
No.
They're coming from incarceration. They're, sorry, piece of hair.
Yeah.
They're coming from the mentality inside that is very different. It's very tailored to their environment.
Yeah.
And for them to try and switch out of that and 100% come to our mentality isn't likely.
No.
It may not be appropriate. Um, it may be sometimes dangerous for
Yeah.
them.
For them to switch it up. Yeah.
Want them to be naive and vulnerable and sensitive.
And romantic and all of these things, not knowing what they went through prior to picking up the phone or what they're going to endure when
Yeah.
they get off that phone. And we were talking about that yesterday too, our expectations. And
Mm-hmm.
there are times that we do put certain expectations
We
and we
do.
fit their environment and it's not that he shouldn't be thinking of you or loving you. We're not saying that. We're not saying
No,
take disrespect or take
no,
this is purely
no.
talking about, where you are not seeing eye to eye, when you're bumping heads. But we have to understand that their environment, most of them were raised in that.
Yeah.
And so how they look at things and how they perceive things, yeah, we are in two total different worlds. So
Yes.
we have to be more understanding of that. And that can get so tricky, which is why your support system is so important, that
Now,
they can kind of see through.
on a guy that's been down, okay, this also comes into play with it is the bid amount, right?
Right.
You've had a guy that's been down 10 plus, even 5 plus. The mentality is less free world, more incarceration because they've spent that. Now you have a guy that's been in there a year or two. He's got more free world, a bit less incarceration. So I think both of those things come into play. It
Yeah,
comes into
absolutely.
play of how long they've been in and how much that's come into play and an effect in their mentality.
Yeah.
How much time they spent out here. A lot of it comes into play. But you're right. We're not saying accept disrespect because they have this type of mentality or this type of thinking or this type of geared understanding because of incarceration. It's not what we're saying.
Right.
What we're saying is it is different. It
It
is.
is. And things are going to come up where it's like you just don't always see their point because you are
Mhm.
emotionally invested. You are feeling whether your feelings got hurt or he's thinking some crap that's way off and you're like, how did you even get there? But when you really think about it, of course that's how he got there. Look where he's at. And
Mhm.
when you sign up for this, it is more than just I'm going to be with a guy who happens to be in prison. You're signing up for understanding what that looks like for them.
Yes.
And there's no switch for them. They don't go through hell, fights breaking out, riots, the CEOs doing all of these things, and then are able to just pick up the phone and be like, "Hi, babe."
Hi,
Like,
baby.
yeah, like they're going through it, and though we are
Mhm.
what gets them through, they cannot always be this thing we put in our mind of like, oh, he should be feeling like this because I'm feeling like this. You know, when we go through anything, we have ways to vent. We get off the phone with them like, screw it. I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go buy this. I'm going to go out with my friends, or I'm going to go see,
Look
like,
for
we
a
have
job.
all these resources to like calm, right? They do not. They
No,
go back to their cell. And then that's what leads into the next. Now, who
I was
was
gonna go there.
Kelly, and what kind of support is now he getting in there, if he even can even trust that person enough to bring it up.
So, how important is your loved one, Sully? There's where that's what we're hitting on. Is okay. We've got us out here. We've got a full community of women, right?
And
Got
Amazon
a
shopping,
community.
girl. Amazon shopping and Starbucks
So that
and
comes into play with it. How important is your loved one's Sully? That will come into play because, like you just said, they go right back to their cell. They're done with their call time. They're done with day room. They go back. They're done with visit. They go back.
Mhm.
That's their immediate right there.
Yeah.
So, how important is that Sully for your
Well,
loved one?
it's super important. Okay, now again, that's if your dude even trusts remotely to even talk about his personal
True.
anything with who
Very
he's filled
true.
up with. So if he doesn't, then guess what? He has to go through all of it in his mind with no one to help him sort it out. He
Yes.
is alone in that process. Now, if he does trust enough, or he does have that one that he communicates with, it's the same out here. Do you have your hype man? Like, man, screw her. I got a girl you can ride. I got this and this and that. Or do you have a real one that's like, bro, you were out of pocket for that, or you weren't thinking?
Okay, but I know what my ideal Sully for my loved one
Girl,
would be.
yes, we all have that ideal.
He's middle aged, even higher, been married a long time.
Yep.
He's got that foundation.
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, what ends up happening, he gets like this 24-year-old, never been married.
Right. Or in the 30s that's still playing the field and hasn't.
Yes. Yes.
It's still doing dirt. So now,
Mhm.
mind you, no matter who you are, you, for the most part, when you're, depending on how you live, they say birds of a feather, right? So it's like, if I were to talk to you and you'd be like, girl, don't listen to him, go cheat. Like, that's not going to make me do it, right? Like, I'm not going to be influenced by something I don't want to do. Now, you may have your friends hype you up to do what maybe is already in your heart, but can't nobody make you do what you don't want. I could have 200 people telling me, do this, leave him, and I'm going to be like, F all y'all. Like, I'm not doing that.
Well, and these guys in these our loved ones have some very strong convictions, very strong. They are very strong minded, very independent minded. So none of these Sullys is going to make them do X, Y, and Z at all. They will do. They think for themselves very, very well, very clearly.
Right.
That's not what we're saying at all. They absolutely are going to make decisions that are best for them.
Right.
But what we are saying is, if you could hand pick
Right.
your loved one Sully, what would that look like? And what do you think would be a good support system for them?
Well, yeah, and it's not going to help if they do talk to their cellie, just like if we talk to our friends who have been hurt by a woman in there, right? Because we know these men go through a lot, and they see it as much as I see it on my feed of these women. These men are getting the same thing. It's the same
1,000%.
thing.
Preach.
So if they are talking to someone who has been hurt, like, again, nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do. But if you are around someone who has a negative energy because of that, it might take you longer to come out of it, or it may prevent you maybe from trying to move past something, because you're like, yeah, she could be doing this, or it's going to make the situation probably worse, but it will not dictate what they do, because we are all responsible for what the hell we do, and can't nobody make you do nothing you don't want to do, period.
Or it makes the situation better.
Yeah.
Your loved one goes back and says, can you believe she just said this? And this is what I said. And the Sully goes, Okay, I've been married a long time. I'm going to tell you right now, got love for you, bro.
Right.
You're out of pocket for that. And
Right.
sudden our loved one's like, ooh, am I
Yeah.
really? So there are that's our good case scenarios. It could be that way that they present and are for their loved one what you and I are to each other, that real one that says, bro, you handled that the wrong way.
Right.
Or I might not have said it like that. I might have, and this,
Right.
they, that's the best case scenarios. They've got somebody that is real
Willing.
with them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we need that out here too. And, we're going to go through arguments. We're going to bump heads. Some
Sure.
is going to be worse than others. Some is like you bounce right back. Others, they linger. Um, and it is very difficult to navigate that. You know what I mean? But again, your determination in your relationship, it is doesn't matter if they're in prison or they're home. It's your love and your commitment.
Mm-hmm.
And it's gonna be rough. That's just what it is. If you're looking for all this romance or fairy tale, like, you're honestly not gonna find that anywhere. But you're really even more so not gonna find that as much as maybe we want
Mm-hmm.
when they're inside, because again, they're in war every single day,
There.
battle mode, combat mode, go, and it's either something that just happened or is about to happen. They are constantly preparing. The minute that cell door cracks, they don't know what awaits them that day,
Nope.
and they have to be watching. You know what I mean? So again, we have to also understand that we're willing to understand that.
Yes.
We
I
have to.
and I'm not saying that, we're definitely not saying that the guys in there don't have romantic streaks.
Of course they do.
They absolutely do. They have to be just like we are. They have to be really creative. They have to be very creative.
Yeah.
A lot of it is because it's such the physicality part, which we will do many videos on those, but the physical part is not quite there with an incarceration relationship. So the emotional mental connection is there, and they know that. Their letters to us, their
Yeah.
visits with us, those kind of things, they absolutely have a huge um what's the word, they do have the get to be able to be romantic. They
Mhm.
absolutely do. We're not saying that at all, that just because they're incarcerated, don't expect romance.
Right.
No,
But
just
they don't have good days in there. Like, that's the thing, is there's no good day in prison. Okay.
no,
So they're never having a great day.
no.
Okay. A great day is like, that's no, we're the great day. We're the great
How do you
moment.
even
And
ask that? How
yeah.
do you find that
Yeah.
that's a tough question to even ask sometimes? Because we're like, well, how do you think it is? I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
you know.
It
So
is
even
crazy.
us asking those kind of things, it's a little bit of a navigation, very
Yeah.
navigation.
And again, because we don't know what they're going through. I mean, that's anybody if you're having a rough day, but they cannot turn things off automatically.
No,
And so when you sign up for this, you really have to understand there's a lot, and you may not know right away. Obviously, you learn things as you go, but always keeping in mind where they're at, what they're dealing with,
yes,
and to understand that that is their daily and there is no escape. There is literally no escape. Let me lock you in a closet
mm,
for just a week and let me only feed you through a little hole through the door, and you have no connection to anybody. Okay, and just let me know how your mind state is after just that. I'll tap out within an hour.
yeah, no kidding.
Like, I
We
I have claustrophobia for one. Like, you're gonna lock me in a closet and then or throw someone else down there with me, and that's where I'm gonna have to live. Like, no, like, just understanding that circumstance is insane.
and that's how we started this, was talking about sometimes in an incarceration relationship, family ship, situationship, whatever it is, we sometimes not forget it, but sometimes it's not in the forefront for us. You had an argument, disagreement, just had some words, and where we started with this is having that support system to be able to say, okay, did you forget where they are? Did you forget what's going on that yard right now? Did you
Yeah.
forget, integration's happening XYZ and that person? Did you
Transfer.
that's why having that support system to kind of bring you back and go,
Mhm.
okay, you don't know what kind of day they're having in there. You
Yeah.
don't know what they pull program. That puts them in a funk. They didn't get out to yard, they didn't get to exercise, they didn't get their
That's
fresh air.
the
That
stress relief. I mean, we look at it like, oh no, they didn't get yard or program, and we say it so casually, not understanding what that means for them.
yeah,
That's the same when the quarantine or lockdown, and we're like, oh my God, and we're like, oh, that means I don't get my visit or I don't get this. They don't get anything.
anything. So having that support system within us, within our community, to have that other girlfriend, that other prison wife, that other prison mom, prison sister, to kind of bring you back and say, okay, you realize a busted program today, right? Short staff, whatever it is.
Yeah.
It sometimes that's absolutely needed to ground us. And having a strong, good, connected support system, I can't say this, I cannot say it enough. Someone that you really, really trust, that isn't going to be your yes man,
Yep.
that isn't just going to tell you what you want to hear,
Yeah.
that's going to tell you what our episodes are always about: good, bad, and ugly about
Right.
you.
And there is a lot in this, and people might think like, well, that's a lot, and you have to think about this, and what about me, and what about me? And like, here's just the truth. It's not that it's not about us or anything like that, but right now, like what we're discussing is our end. Okay, this is our end. That's
Yes.
a whole nother topic of what he needs to do, to how he needs to be with you and what he has to push through. But understand, what he has to push through is 10 times harder than what we have to push through,
Yes.
because they do have to be understanding, which is very hard because there's nothing in that prison that even models a healthy relationship. They have to search that out. There is nothing positive, there is nothing uplifting, there is nothing encouraging. It is all dark. It is all dark, and then getting mad at them because they can't find the light. We'll give them a minute. It takes a minute. But this is our responsibility as well,
Well,
because when you sign up and you're committed, this is what it looks like. No matter where the person is, you commit to that person.
we are the light.
Yeah, that's it.
We are their light.
They're
We are
only, they're only.
their loved ones out here that are answering the phones, writing the letters, the video visits, the in-person. And I understand there's state factors, distant factors, financial factors where the
Right.
in-person happened, but they're trying on the video visits. Those people that are doing those things, that
Consistent.
is their light.
Hmm.
That is their light.
Yeah.
To get a letter, to have a phone call answered, we touched on this in the last episode, to have a video visit, to have that connection,
Hmm.
in best case scenario, and in person where you get to touch them. We are their light.
Yeah.
We
And
are.
when you commit, it's so easily said. I mean, even right, Mo, when you're married or you're engaged or whatever it may be, these commitments of better for worse, all of these things, people really don't understand that's two sides of the coin. You're saying for better or whatever is the exact opposite of that. So you are going to have these obstacles, but if
Mhm.
you are not able to push through, again, you have to do that even if you had a husband or a boyfriend that's at home. You have to learn them. You have to learn their language. You have to learn their trauma. You have to learn what they've been through to make them think the way they do. It is a lot of work, but when you find that person, you're like, you know what? This is who I'm going to invest that in. So it is an investment in a human being. Like, I'm going to give you all that I have. And again, it is not always easy, but the payoff is amazing when you have love, real love. Like, because it is so rare to find that
I
when you find
with
it, yeah, you fight with everything you have.
these relationships, again, family ships, situationships, whatever it is, what people have to really, nobody has to do anything they don't want to do, but that what they should try and look at is that relationship between yourself and your incarcerated loved one. You're in a relationship with three: you, your incarcerated loved one, and the incarceration.
Yep.
There's always a third party that's in your relationship, and it's the incarceration.
Yep.
It's just there. It is there. Not until they are out of there is that third party gone.
Yep.
But while they're in there, and that third party does a lot to intervene. That
Yep.
third party be coming in like a
They do. And the CEOs know what they do when they delay our mail. The CEOs know what they do when they love taking family visits or visits from them as punishment, dropping those phones. Like they know exactly what it does. They don't like us showing up. They don't like that they have that support because they are taught even in the academy that they're nobodies, that they're better
yes,
than them. And then you have this loyal family member who is always showing up and proving them wrong. They don't want that. You look at whenever they get disciplinaries, you wonder why. They could get like 30 days of day room taken, but they'll get a year of visits gone or some, you know what I mean? Like they
yeah.
know how important that is and that that's everything to them. That's
I,
why the mail, like, oh my God, I'm having issues with that right now. And it is so frustrating because it does become a problem. But like you said, it is the prison, it's the
the
system.
third party,
Yeah. And when they come home, they still have that mindset.
they
And
do.
there's a lot of work after that, but at least they're no longer in it. But
Yes.
until that happens, you are going to be dealing with someone who is incarcerated, who is institutionalized, and in
Mm-hmm.
order, like you said at the beginning, they cannot switch up
No.
their thought process because they won't survive if they do,
Yeah.
mentally and physically.
Yeah.
So that's why it's up to us to try and understand more. Does it require a lot? Yeah, but that's what love does. That's what love is. Love
It
is
also
exactly that.
requires for us to give that with them and to them. What started this episode to begin with was you've got to have a support system, at
Yes.
least in our opinion. To do this, if you're doing this on your own and you're right and you've got it, I'll tell you what, let me hand you a medal because
Big time.
I, as a person, I know that I can't do this journey just on my own.
Mm-mm.
I know that 100% about me. I know that. If you are that type of person that can, hey, more
You're
power to you. You
amazing.
got it.
Yeah.
What I most commonly find is that you do need those support systems around you.
Yeah, and you see that we deal a lot of us deal with the same thing. And
Sure.
so you
Yes.
always want to find somebody too who's done it longer. You know, I
Yeah.
know a couple women, Sunny and Deb, they've been doing this. Deb's doing it 12 years, Sunny doing it 28, 29.
Mm-hmm.
Find those because it's like they've done it. They've done it longer than
Yeah.
any of most of us combined. But they do it and they know what we go through and they've learned how to navigate. We all need a mentor. We all need positive,
Yes.
uplifting individuals who are going to tell it like it is, but have your back, you know, no matter what. Like that's what you
Um,
have to find.
with our groups, support groups, we often get brand new women in that are coming onto the journey. In mine, I get a lot. Brand new women coming into this journey, they're scared. They are scared, rightfully so.
Yep.
Scared. They're feeling all of this stuff. The communication is what we know as norm, but for them, it's like, holy shit, this is terrible.
Right.
They're feeling all of this, and they'll DM me, ask a question like, oh, hey, when should I, am I able to send this or this? They just hit their new spot after reception. Hey, what about? And they'll start to talk, and then they'll say, hey, is it normal that I feel like, and I'll sit back and go, mm-hmm. Yes. You have no idea how many of these new women go, really? I go, yeah. And it's okay to feel what you're feeling,
Mhm.
completely normal.
Well, yeah,
And
because just
okay,
navigating the freaking when you're brand new, the visiting. How does the visiting? What can I wear? How do I apply for visiting? Like, what does this look like? And where that alone, and then we master it, right? I mean, that's nothing. We don't think twice about it. You know what I
then
mean?
you get transferred.
Yeah. We navigate a lot. We're badass. I mean, that's in the day. A loyal prison wife, girlfriend, fiance, found whatever, like we're badass because it is we are learning a whole new world real quick. And we are the ones that are doing 95% of the adjusting, not them, us.
For the new women coming in, the new women that pop into our groups brand new, and they have that, we've been there. They got that look that we have, the big wide-eyed look,
You're in
like,
headlights.
oh my God,
Uh-huh.
I don't know about this. The biggest, and I'm cautious about giving advice, but the biggest thing that I would suggest, which is what started this episode, is get yourself a support system.
Mhm.
100%. And don't doubt for a single second that a feeling that you're feeling, I don't think I should be feeling this. Yes, you should. Yeah, of course you should.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You feel what you need to feel.
There's nothing
Go
but
through what you
feelings
need to
in
go
this.
through.
I mean, there's right. There's nothing but it seems like it is nothing but an emotional roller coaster because
Absolutely.
you're learning what it is. You're learning new ways of
Mhm.
communicating that maybe when you've had a relationship out here you don't have. Then the guilt of leaving them behind, the hate of where they're at, that emotional trying to fight to bring them home. Okay, the endless times of does this bill work for me? Will that work for mine? Can we do this? The letdown when it doesn't. I mean, you are constantly fighting for the person you love the most freedom.
And
That's
families
crazy.
that there, you may not have family support because a lot of people in the free world don't know why we do this. They don't agree that we do this. It makes no sense to them. Who does it make sense to? Us in our
Yeah.
community. So they're fighting all of these things, and potentially family that's like, what are you doing? Why are you staying
Yeah.
with that guy? What do you, there's so much to it that, again, here I go. My suggestion is get you a support system, because when you got somebody like I have in you, like I have in a couple of other women,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this journey as well. And I'm not saying I'm doing it great, but
Right.
I'm not, ooh, I'm doing this amazing.
Right.
Not doing it as well or as confidently without you guys. I'm not. Nope.
No.
I'm drowning
Yeah. And I'm in my own thoughts. And then I become my own worst enemy.
for
And then
sure.
it's someone to pull it up. But, again, we know a lot of people, like you said, they don't have the support. But if you want to know their reality, next time you're in the visit room, find out how many people are on that yard. And then look in your visiting room and see how many people are there to visit. Okay.
It's the same people.
It's the same people, and it's not even a fraction. It
Yeah.
doesn't even cover a building in the whole yard.
Yeah.
Okay. They don't have it. So yes, us showing up and being there absolutely means
Mm-hmm.
everything, just as it does to us. But for them to have that, the people that haven't given up on them, haven't turned their back, like, oh, I'll deal with you when you come home, or you landed yourself there. So it is what it is. I'm not all of those things. There are so many men and women incarcerated. They don't know what it's like to get a package. They don't even know what the inside of a visiting room looks like. They have phone calls and they give them away because they know no one's picking up for them on that line. Hey, take my phone call. There's no point in them even signing up. Okay, they don't know what that's like, and they have years and years in there. So when you think of that reality and you
What's
understand,
cool
yeah,
is, and I'm not saying it's cool, that's probably not the right word, but to watch a guy that's had none of that, and find someone
mm-hmm,
and starts to get those things, the amount of happiness,
yeah,
the amount of like, wow, what you said kind of triggered me to say this. Them walking into the visit room for the very first time, and they've been down 10 years, 5
yep,
years,
yep.
never had a visit. Them walking into the visit room the very first time, not knowing, oh, we take a picture, we can go out on the patio.
Yeah.
Those things that they get a
And when
letter.
they get it then consistently, because
Yeah,
that it shows, I mean, that shows love, right? That's anybody. When you have someone that always shows up for you, like
yeah.
what that means, which is a whole nother topic about consistency and how that okay, because there are some things that are going to trigger them, period, because of how they're watching. Like we think we
That's
as
our
women really be
episode.
watching, but no, they're beyond the FBI. Like we got nothing on them. of what they pay attention to. But the point is knowing that because they're not made to feel worthy in there. I don't know how many times I've heard we just want to be treated like humans. When's the last time you had to say that in any part of your life? I just want to be treated like I'm a human. Like, we don't understand how low they are made to feel daily. Okay. Like, they are treated like they're not valuable. They're throwaways. I mean, they're garbage. They're trash. They're not useful. They don't matter. Their life has no meaning. So when they find that person that comes along that is like, yes, you do.
You are. Yes, you do matter.
You matter, and I'm going to be here, and I'm going to have your back. And no matter how the storms come, it doesn't matter. We're going to you're going to see I'm here. I will not run. That's what they need. They need that, and they're not used to that, which is why they may doubt you or have so many questions or worry or whatever it is, because a lot of people don't stick around for that. Even out here, we know that.
I want to I sent this to you and I posted it in our groups. Vacaville PD had a situation happen this past week, where CO and a group of incarcerated loved ones were doing some cleanup maintenance outside of the prison. They were CDCR incarcerated, but they were outside doing some cleanup thing. Came across a woman that was being assaulted by someone, and they sprung into action to go assist her, help her, and they did that. Vacaville PD was able to apprehend the assaulter, and an article or like a blog post went out about it on Vacaville PD's Facebook page. CDCR since has also put out something about it, saying that the incarcerated loved ones likely saved her life, and how grateful Vacaville PD says how grateful we were that they were there and they sprang into action to go help. And I thought when I read it, and I told my loved one about it today, and when I read it, I thought, this is what the media needs to see more of.
Yeah.
They are human beings.
Yeah.
They are loved and loved ones. This is what the media needs to see more of. And when I read it, I'm to myself going, yes.
People ask, so shocked, like, oh my God, incarcerated help. Officer that was choking. That was another one. The guy had a heart attack. They broke through the cell and could have ran, and they helped. And everyone's like, oh my God, they did it. And it's like, what do you mean? Oh my God. What are you kidding me? Like, it's that much of a shock to you? Because again, they're looked at as evil, horrible, scum of the earth, dangerous, no good, garbage. I mean, and to have the whole world look at you like that and then get treated like that on top of that in there. And that's just a fraction of what they go through.
Yes.
Just a fraction.
Well, we got way off topic with our support.
Yeah, we did, but that's what we do. We just begin to talk in, and then it's like, because there's so much to cover.
Okay.
But it's fine. But end of day, yes, we will end this. But end of day, find you a support system that's going to be honest with you. Find you someone who cares about your relationship.
Not a yes person.
Huh?
Don't get a yes person.
No, because your girl's going to have your back when you're right. She's going to let you know, hey, you were right. He's tripping. Maybe this is how you need to let him know. She's not going to just, you know what I mean? It's what's right and what's wrong. Or if you're seeing it clearly or you're not. They're there to kind of help you. So you have to find that. If you can't find one, that's why you join the groups. That's what I love about our groups is we are not there to judge. We don't care how you met them. We don't care any of that. We don't want no paperwork. We don't want nothing. We are there to solely support you in this journey, and we have your back. You know what I mean? Like, truly, because we actually care. Yeah. You know, I want to see more thriving relationships than not. I want more posts about the beautiful things instead of the negative, because I hate that crap.
I want to highlight. So this episode was about your support systems, their support systems, and what theirs look like, and ours. And from that, I want to say I love you very, very much. I love you. Without you, lady, it would make my journey extremely difficult. You see me very clearly. I see you. I see you, little girl. But you are one of my my sister, and convinced me to do this
Right?
podcast.
Thank you. I always get her to like join my shenanigans, and that's the two. And I have my support system, which is absolutely you. I have Alice, Deb, and Sunny. That's my crew. And I am so grateful.
I have Wendell, and I I have Christina. Shout out to Christina. I have the core women that understand me, know how I think and how I tick, that respect my relationship as I respect theirs, and want those relationships to flourish.
Yes.
Those are the really, to me, for me, those are my key components of someone that I know has got me like that.
Yeah. And it's amazing to have, and that's in this journey, you know what I mean? I have close friends that are not in this, and they support me, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
again, it's still, this is a lot to understand. They, you know what I mean, they're not going to always get it. They get me, they just
Yes.
want to see me happy. They support my relationship. You know what I mean? And they just are like, girl, they see, and these are the ones that were like from when I was little. So they see me through hell and back and horrible things. You know what I mean? All they want is like, just as long as he's good to you, we just want to see you
Let's
happy.
be
They
happy.
deserve
Yep.
that, and they do see me happy because I am in love. I am so in love with this man. It is stupid. Okay. It's insane. It's like makes no sense. I love him so completely, but they see that, and they see that I am happy, and it is the most healthiest, most grown, mature relationship I've ever been in, ever.
And they can be. So
Yeah.
please don't let the outside world, the naysayers, the this, the that,
Mm-mm.
degrade and your relationship. Well, it can't
Or
be, because
minimize it. Don't let them minimize it because he's in prison. Like it doesn't count,
you can't have a fulfilled. Says who?
right?
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
Yeah, because we do.
So we
Even
got.
though he be driving me freaking insane, but then I just
I'm
have
not
to.
covering that one on this
Oh yeah,
episode.
because he's doing, I know I do him, but my God, but it's patience, it's understanding,
And
because,
consistency. Yeah.
and then he's got to be patient with me. Although I don't think I'm that bad. I mean, to be truthfully honest in my moment, till I talk to my friends and they're like, "He's tripping." But point
You
is, I have the most incredible husband in the whole wide world. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, I think I took the best one, but there's not that there's not best after. I was just saying, I've got the
he's
best.
a saint to be with you. Oh.
And ask whatever's above a saint to be with him. What is that? The Pope? Yes, I is.
So what do we got coming up for our next episodes?
Oh God. There's so much.
There is
There's
one.
one I have for like the newbies, just to kind of
Yes,
talk them through a tutorial.
visiting. We want to do an episode on consistency, what that looks like, in our opinion.
And why it's so important, or
Yes.
why it throws them off when we're not. Even though we're not trying to be inconsistent.
No. But I think
there's so much. We got patience. And we still want to hear from you guys. We want to know what you want to talk about. If you want to be a guest, please email us, theprisonladies@gmail.com. If you want to talk about something, or just get on and just whatever, shoot the crap, like get your coffee and we just talk about whatever.
I want to give a big thank you, a huge thank you to our community. I don't think either one of us, quite frankly, saw the support that we were going to get to be this to this. Right. And it blew our minds when we saw how many subscribers we had. When we saw
first day, we were like,
what? You heard Renee say it on the first episode, all two of you that will watch. Yeah. And that didn't happen. We got a lot of support. We thank you. Seriously, and stay tuned because we got a lot more coming. A lot more.
The good, the bad, the ugly.
There it is. Some will let Renee. She's got to do the ending because I can't.
Oh, do we have an ending? Did we decide on that? I think I'll just Do it. Our Lala song.
Okay,
And then we do our dance.
got it. Thank you, everybody.
Till next time.
Next time, the good, bad, and the ugly.